raise the youth for your country. We are all involved. It is only the youth that can change our nation. The older politicians always put themselves first, but the youth, the dynamic and the vibrant youth, are the only people that can cause drastic change in our politics. Once again, your host, MCO Soldier, with a swag. Thank you for joining us, and greetings to all our listeners around the world. Edinkra Radio will be very grateful if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also follow us on YouTube, and you can always drop your comments, and we'll definitely read your comments. You also have the opportunity, and when we're deliberating on issues, you can also call in at 917-340-7744, also to contribute to our program. From the CEO of Edinkra Radio to our great graduates around the world, congrats to class of 2020. Go out there and continue to change the world. Special one to Daisy Blankson. You got accepted into Cardinal Spellman Catholic High School. And always remember, the sky is the limit. Presenting to you our political show, The Front Desk. I have with me here my wonderful two guests. The third person is on his way, and he will be arriving very, very soon. I present to you Honorable Abdul Latif, who's an independent rep and also Pan-Africanist man. He had opportunity to school in KNUST. And I also have with me here, he once stand as a parliamentarian. He's also here with me, Honorable Mazu, who is the MPP Communications Director. Honorable Mazu, Abdul Latif, Akwaba, Angel Abdul Latif. What I mean, 1 minute now. Fucking can you betray?
Sama Akwaba, Yamania Akwaba said. Week no, Aqua Pro Babatry, and I said, any cabia de Mura, they say, or here, Swama, and Yachi, now as I bet now, say a bet what. Now a tear for we are here finding on the tear as open now program is successful. And along the line, on Sedu Sikano, on between your friend, almost no Asher Madrid. Now I think, and yes, I am Kwani a better at Watua, almost no. Our friend now, our share, our take on it, and a better master so maybe this my program. I for now, no, they're more kind.
Thank you, Honorable Mazu.
Also, that
yes, sir.
yeah, that was
I saw our share. It was your same
truly. Yes, we are just also contributing our parts to making Ghana's democracy one of the enviable democratic countries, not only in Sub-Saharan West Africa, not only in Africa, to be a competitive democratic country when we talk of democracy worldwide. So Ghana is notoriously, noted for this. You remember we are the first black country to break from the colonial power, gaining independence way back in 1957. And the independence of Ghana has resonated to the other parts of the country. So today, if we are here speaking about, multi-party democracy, it is something that our forefathers have really fought tooth and nail, and then brought it into being. So the best we can do as a generation is to also uphold to the tenets of democratic credentials. This struggle to democratize the whole Africa continent started immediately after the Second World War. The Second World War ushered in a new image of nationalism. Then from there, it ended in somewhere 1945, the Second World War, and then around 1947, the multi-party, started grouping themselves, give birth to the United Gold Coast Convention. Somewhere around the line, the CPP also came into being. Somewhere along the line, then we started up to today. Today we are also here discussing it. I mean, when we were children, Latif, way back in the day, especially early 2000s, you could just sit at the comfort of your dad's room and watch people discussing national politics. And today, gradually, we have also been invited and people are listening to us. But let me make this thing very clear. The fact that we are here discussing doesn't mean that we are an embodiment of knowledge. It doesn't mean that, we are custodians of wisdom, we are custodians of knowledge. No, it is just an opportunity that Adinkra FM has offered to some of us. And all what we are saying here doesn't necessarily mean that they are 100%. It doesn't mean that they are absolutely, the facts that cannot be disputed. Sometimes we err, sometimes we say things that are not correct. Our listeners will call in and correct us. Sometimes through those things, we have also been able to learn. So Latif, Osoja, personally, yes, I am using this platform, even though I have done these banter political discussions for the past 10 years. Way back in my university level, when I was even in first year, I started radio discussion representing a political party. So it's been a journey worth doing, and I like it so much. I just want to correct an impression that you sought to, let the people understand about me contesting as an MP. Yes, I went and contested as a parliamentary candidate within the primaries of the MPP, and I lost to somebody. And today, as we speak, he's the person who is the DCE of my constituency, Puru, and he's the candidate, the PC for that constituency at the same time. In the last election, we lost by a negligible fraction. We lost by only 42 votes. And we are hoping that this time around, the MPP will be able to patch it up, come out with a formidable campaign team that will be able to wrestle power from an administration that has been, excellently incompetent in the discharge of their duties. Without much ado, Osoja, I turn back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yo, for our listeners, and Yababi and Komo, the item that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the election 2020. Then we talk about the CI-126, that's the constitutional instrument number 126. We'll talk about the NDC, we'll talk about the Attorney General, and we'll also talk about the Supreme Court. But my introduction today, today there was a past, I think within the week, there was an apostle who was arrested by the national security in his house. It's kind of bothering me, and I believe it's kind of bothering you also. I just want to throw the question to you. Ghana, are we serious? And what is your take on that? I think I'll start with Honorable Abdul Latif.
Osoja, thank you once again for this opportunity, as usual, to be on air and share my views relating to matters happening in back home and possibly around the world. On this very issue that has to do with the pastor getting arrested, honestly, we need to emphasize on educating the citizenry to understand the do's and don'ts. A video went viral concerning the utterances that he had or he made, and honestly speaking, I was of the firm belief, or I shared the view of he being invited, queried, or questioned, so that others may not take delight in doing what he did. But the irony of it is, in our country, Ghana, everything boils down to politics. And I don't think that will really help us in building on the very democracy that we've been able to build on or have as the beacon of democracy within the sub-region. I heard him say so many things relating to the sitting president, and I think he went way too high. But the other concern is the way he was also being handled. Like we keep saying, two wrongs do not make a right. I heard Honorable Kennedy Japon stating categorically that he instructed the arrest of the pastor. So I begin to ask, is Honorable Kennedy Japon now the ceremonial president of Ghana? It seems we have two presidents in Ghana. We have the executive president, which is the President Akufo-Addo, and we have the ceremonial president, who has some reserved powers or authority to go about doing certain things in the country. This is not what we call democracy. I don't know whether he just said it to get praise for bragging rights, that he ordered the arrest of the man, but that doesn't negate the offense that was meted out or the offense committed by the man in the name of freedom of expression. We do acknowledge the fact that the Constitution grants every citizen the right to express himself, but you have to do within some limits. At least the sitting president might not be a party member, or you might not side with him on certain conditions or certain issues, but it doesn't give you the power to just say all sort of things. And when we say things like this, with the advent of technology and internet, the videos goes viral. At the end of the day, people will be pointing to us, oh, look at Ghana that we're trying to even copy from them. Look at what is happening at their backyard. Then we don't need to learn anything from them. So in moving forward, we all have to comport ourselves, register our displeasure within our limit, not to transgress or go overboard. And we will expect the authorities, the CID, the national security officers in future to also behave when it comes to making such an arrest. That is what I have to say.
Thank you. Honorable Mazu.
Yeah, also
what is your take on this?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I said good evening to our cherished listeners and those who are watching us, especially the chairman of the MPP and any other individual who subscribe to the principles and teachings and doctrines of the Dankwa Buzia tradition. Talking about the pastor, I normally describe him as a drug-induced apostle, drug-induced pastor. Because, I mean, after the emergence of the video that went viral, I took my time to make a little bit research about that pastor. Also, to my surprise, the information I have assembled about the pastor is very, very appalling. I mean, any dignified pastor wouldn't have even done that. I am not a Christian, but education through the Christian school and other interaction that I have had with Christian friends. For all I know, Christianity does not, or pouring of libation is not one of the components of Christianity. Also, am I right?
Yeah.
Pouring of libation, does it form? Is it within the content or consort? Does it found itself within the consonants of Christianity? Libation pouring is, I know, is one of the instruments that traditional worshippers normally use. But I have seen a video of that pastor, that same pastor, the drug-induced pastor, pouring libation in the name of Christianity. Then another video, I saw him lambasting the former president, dear. And this is the third video I have seen such an ugly, unguided, and self-acclaimed man of God giving out the statement that he has given out. You all agree with me that freedom of expression has a constitutional backing, but such expression must come within the contents of decency and decorum, and must and should be something that will not inflict pains on the people that are saying. The fact that the constitution of our country has given you the right to expression doesn't mean that you can say anything unsubstantiated. You can make allegations, spurious comments, scandalous information just to deceive the people. Also, Ghana's democracy, as I have started chronicling during my introduction, has come a long way to go. You remember when President Obama was sworn in as the first black president of this country, the first African country he has made a decision to visit was Ghana. He has chosen Ghana not because Ghanaians are more beautiful, our ladies are more beautiful, or we have certain historical antecedent that is peculiar to us that other parts of the African continent do not have, but because of our democratic journey. This fourth Republican Constitution has been with us since 1992. To date, we are still in it. So it is an enviable culture that we are projecting.
So you can wrap up for me.
Yes, no problem. So any individual or group of person who, either by themselves or in consonance with others, try to overthrow this constitutional democracy, the person must face the full rigors of the law. So that pastor was very pastoralistic statements. He has made a statement that do not, constitute something that we should be very proud with as people. Now, in the video, as a wrap up, he mentioned two people, two individuals, the EC, Jane Mensah, and the president. Forget about the fact that Jane Mensah, she is embarking on a constitutional exercise. It is the constitution that has given her the right. Go to Article 45, subclause A, which clearly specifies that the EC has a mandate to compile, voters register.
Thank you.
Within, let me just land.
Yeah,
I mentioned
we have a lot to
yes,
discuss.
yes. The EC and the president. Now coming back to the president, what has the president done? What has the president done that warrants this scandalous, unsubstantiated, and then malicious allegation? Good. He has not even limited the insult to only the president. He went as far as to the father of the president. Let me make it very clear here. Today, as we speak in Ghana, take the history of the Danquas, take the history of the Edward Akufo-Addo out of history of Ghana, Ghana will be empty. Out of the 6 individuals who struggled to have independence of our country, 3 of them are part and parcel of Akufo-Addo.
Thank you.
One maternal uncle, second one paternal uncle, and his own dad. What sort of life is this?
Thank you.
So in as much as we are trying to build a formidable democracy, it is not only peculiar to, I am not mad because he has insulted the president. Even what he said against JM was uncalled for, misguided, and...
Thank you. I think I really understand you perfectly. Problem. I think there's one thing that we all can agree on.
All right.
Ghana is beacon of democracy.
Yes.
And everything that you do, there are channels that you need to follow.
Exactly.
You cannot use elimination by rough tactics. We don't agree to people insulting, threatening. No, it's against the 1992 Constitution. is really against it. But the point that we have to look into is someone coming to your house to arrest you in the name of
national security.
And they tell you, I have a warrant.
Okay.
I think under normal circumstances, if you want to arrest a person and you have a warrant, there is the need for you to show there's a need for you to show the warrant to the person. That is number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, if the person cannot read, it is your responsibility to read to the person
in a language that the person understands.
In a language the person understands. And also, you don't use excessive force in arresting the person, because it becomes like we are in the jungle. Ghana, we are a joke, and we need to stop. Because at the normal that any party that comes into power, what the security apparatus does is they try to protect it, but they always have to stay as neutral. Mm-hmm. They are independent. So I feel like the security, whatever they did, they went there. It was the right thing for them to do it. For the manner in which they took this man is unprofessional. No. Number two, we can also agree. Okay. We can all come into a compromise that when the man was being arrested, nobody saw that there was narcotics or maybe.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
I'm coming.
Please don't go there.
Please, the point is, what I'm trying to say is, we watch the video.
All right.
When you are arresting the person and you want people to know that is an evidence, right there. When the police are, here when the police want to arrest you, they make sure they search you in presence of people for them to see you. You don't put person in a car, drop me on the point. The next time he comes on social media, he's on handcuffs, he's holding weed, and at the end of the day, they were even laughing at him. We are not supporting what the pastor did. The so-called apostle, but it was clearly unprofessional. But the point is, the approach, the arrest, and when this is like very serious issue, and they were just laughing at him. Then back to the point. I think sometimes let's call spade a spade. Ghana is a joke. MPs who were tested positive, right? They were told that you've been tested positive, so don't come to work. You have to stay away for 14 days. You have to quarantine yourself. Some of them still went to parliament. Okay? They were having interaction with people. Then quoting from Ras Mubarak, he described them as witches and wizards. Okay? Then, talking about Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu was saying that Parliament should be shut down. We already have 70 doctors who have tested positive. We have 148 nurses who have tested positive. And we have 18 midwives who have also tested positive. Ghana, are we safe? Let's, rub shoulders on this for like maybe 1 minute, then we can just move on.
Okay, coming back to the same statement that was pronounced by that pastor, reference to the unpastoralistic statement he has made, reference to the EC and the president. Now, also, you made a statement that I told you not to go there. Now, first of all, let's just watch it. You equally made a statement that I need to just make our institutions are very weak. I do remember when Obama came into Ghana, one statement he made, and that resonated to the entire world, was that it is better we'll build a formidable institution. It is better we'll build institutions. When our institutions are strengthened, Latif, that is where we can talk of a very neutral country. But today, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Whenever MPP is in power, whenever NDC is in power, the security apparatus will now pick up their political party shirt and be with them. Today, MPP is in power. You see from the police, BNI, whoever is it, support MPP. When MPP goes out of power, you see the BNI, everything will now turn against MPP. They are in favor of NDC. Latif, also what we need to do as a country is, one, the appointment of such individual is problematic. Why should a constitution of Ghana spell out sitting president will have to appoint IGP? So any party that comes to power, he comes with his IGP. And if the party is going, he's going with his IGP. The next party will have to make appointment with IGP. How do you expect such IGP to be politically neutral? That is highly impossible. Number two, nowhere in the world will a constitution of a country, whether it's a constitution or convention, will allow the vice president of any country to be the chairman of the police service. That is not what is done. So, talking about the fact that the way our system is running, I have a problem with that. This one is nothing, it has nothing to do with MPC, it has nothing to do with MPP.
It's a system.
Yes, it's a system. The earlier we wake up as a country and try to sanitize the system, the better it will be for us. You see IGP issuing out. Listen, MPP became victim under NDC simply because the IGP or all the security apparatus were under the control, under the tutelage of the then party. Today, NDC are accusing us to the extent that we have people who don't even believe in our legal system. To the extent that we still have people who are bastardizing judges of the Supreme Court. They will tell them that their political inclination is party A or party B. That is not good for us. Also, we can chart a very nice course by making sure that we depoliticize certain institutions.
Yes.
I don't agree with the fact that the Electoral Commission should be appointed by government. I don't agree with that.
I agree with you.
I don't agree with that.
I agree with you.
It is a shambolic of a democracy. Yesterday, I was at Fordham University. This, today they are making some elections in this country.
Yeah.
Yes. As part of my academic work, I had the privilege to be selected as part of the students who went there, made sure that everything went smoothly. Because of this program, that's why I didn't go there. I should have been there by now. It's part of my academic requirement. I am doing governance and public policy. So I'm part of the people, the least people they selected to go and then watch up the system and write a comprehensive report on that. Go there, the Electoral Commission, assemblers of the Electoral Commission. In New York, they call it Board of Election.
Yeah.
You understand? Masa, the person who is even there operating the machine doesn't even know the candidates they are even going to vote. I took my time and asked him, what is this election all about? I knew it because it's part of my academic requirement. I knew it, but I wanted to test my curiosity and see whether this really. Don't be surprised this country, you ask somebody who is the vice president of this country, he can't tell you. They are dead, they don't know shit. So what I'm trying to say,
please,
what I'm trying to
for the
say,
sake of our audience, just remove that little phrase.
Okay.
I understand you, but please do it.
I'll remove it.
Now coming back to be on a more serious note, also all the import of this statement is that the person who is part of the board of election city of New York doesn't even know what the rules of the his area of specialization is the equipment.
Yeah.
He doesn't
summarize it for
yes. All right. So what I'm trying to say is that the position, there are certain positions that needs to be extremely neutral.
Thank you.
People should be able to ascend to the topmost position through academic qualification.
Thank you.
Now let me mention them. The National Commission for Civic Education, it should not be partisan. Then the Electoral Commission, the appointment to the IGP, we call it in governance ombudsman's committee. So they should make it extremely neutral in order for us to move as a country. Today, members are saying so and so because they think that the same NDC who were praising the security apparatus are now bastardizing them. The same security. Look at what happened during the demonstration of the new voter register before election 2016.
You're talking about Kumipreko?
Not Kumipreko. Kumipreko happened in 1995. I'm talking about before 2016 general election.
Yeah.
When the MPP were pressing for the overhaul and the total change of the voter register. People were molested, were brutally beaten.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all trying to
That's
agree
what
on.
I'm trying to give you this. People, members of my party, were brutally malhandled by the security men. Today, as at that time I was sitting in New York, I was criticizing the security men. Today, the same security men
Yes.
have now become friends of MPP.
Yes.
It's just that
It's shame.
we have the MPP as doyens of democracy, as a party that uphold the real principle and tenets of democracy. NDC have embarked on several demonstrations. We have never beaten them. Demonstrations, strikes, boycott, these are legitimate tools a political party used to press.
But I think there was a fight where this guy, is it Domelo? Is it Ayawaso?
Wagon.
Yeah, that is when
there was a fight there.
What do you mean?
That was during the by-election.
Yeah, that was by-election.
No, that was by-election. I'm talking about demonstration.
Oh,
That is
demonstration.
going on. Yes, different from by-election.
Oh, so
If we are even going to describe about by-election, we have had pockets of listen.
I'm understanding perfectly.
No, let me come.
Yeah.
Election. I have the opinion that there shouldn't be one drop of a blood during political party election.
Yeah.
But why should I go be in queue to vote for my political party? Then I am entertaining fears that my political opponent will unleash violence on me. That is
Let me hear from you on this issue.
Yeah.
Thank you, General Mazu. That's a great presentation.
Thank you once again. And concerning the issue that you just made mention of, I think, like you rightly said, we are a joke, with all due respect. Because if you look at the constitution, it appears it was being cooked to lure former President Rawlings at least to accept multi-party democracy. But with time, like former President of United States, that was the 26th President of the United States, rightly said, Theodore Roosevelt, he said a great democracy must be progressive. So that implies with time, whatever needs to be amended or changed has to be. We can't keep the whole or the old system in place for a very long time. And if you look at our constitution or the constitutional provisions, it empowers the president, and at some point in time you ask whether he's a president or a king. He appoints this, he appoints that, he takes off this, he takes off, he brings in that.
That's delete and insert.
In that case, I would say that is not democracy.
So, let me just add this to it so that you can just combine the two.
Yeah.
Just imagine that, some of the politicians are really insulting even some of our chiefs. I think I read something about Domahine Osajifo Oforipeni or something, and they were insulting him. Listen, before we became democratical country, these chiefs were there. These queen mothers were there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now we got to a point that when someone disagree with an issue that is at stake that we are talking about, I don't believe it is okay for politicians to insult our chiefs, our queen mothers. There was a video that went that I think there was a place in somewhere in Central Region, or like they were really insulting them. Do you think it is okay that we call ourselves the beacon of democracy, and we the same people are insulting our elders? You know what? You can disagree with me, but you know what? At the end of the day, we have to agree and disagree, come into a compromise with dignity and respect. It's not about being insult. If you want to get a position in a party, it doesn't mean that you should insult an elderly person, a chief or a queen mother in order for you to get a position. And I think we all have to condemn it. You can disagree with them, but you can still, present your point. Latif, please go ahead, please.
Yeah, also, like, issues pertaining to Ghana always look controversial and dicey. Like you just made mention of, most people even don't understand politics or the relevance of our institutions. Before multi-party democracy, our chiefs were there. They are the original custodians of the land.
Yes.
Even our colonial masters recognized their importance. That was why they introduced an indirect rule system of governance. They communicate or deal with the people through the chiefs. The 1992 Constitution recognizes the chieftaincy institution as a body that advises on national matters to make sure there is peace. But this that is happening, if you are to analyze it critically, I would say the sitting EC boss is the cause of some of this drama. Why am I saying that? The National House of Chiefs, within the confines of the law or the constitution that allows them to mediate on issues of national interest, did invited the sitting EC boss, and what happened? She failed to honor the invitation. Like we say in our local language, amamre kwanso se penny fro kra na wuntimi ma, at least suma na bokoko say oh BBC just even give a reasonable excuse. The EC decided not to honor
the
pretend. Invitation.
You can even pretend.
So based on that, people are beginning to feel like, oh, then our chiefs are even not as important as we seems they are. Mm-hmm. So to me, most of the recent drama concerning how people are respecting the chiefs is been because of the EC's conduct. Had she honored the invitation, even if she's still going to insist on what she thinks is right within the law, I don't think people would have been behaving this way. Most of the chiefs that you see them speaking are speaking because they feel being disrespected. And for that matter, once they cannot get access to the EC to air their views, they will rely on social media or other available platforms. But like we keep saying, we need to restructure the way our country is being governed. Our institutions, as we keep saying, should be allowed an independent role. But without interference, will not go anywhere. So without wasting my time, I will appeal to Nanano and to EC and whoever or all the stakeholders to exercise restraint or calm as we all prepare towards the election. Election shouldn't even be a do or die affair. Like my brother did mention, there's an election going on here, and we don't even feel that there's an election. Yeah. But so why should election be some sort of fight? But I do understand why it's taking that trend.
Yeah.
Now, governance that used to be service is now business-oriented field.
Exactly.
So people invest into politics,
such
that it should be do or die affair.
Yeah.
A typical example, I think, in Saboba, I learned within the ruling parties there was some misunderstanding about a candidature, whatever, just because of this upcoming elections, primaries. They have to even ban the office.
And there was a place that...
So now you ask yourself, you ban down the office. Would that solve the problem?
Yeah.
The other place too, they have to invoke the gods.
Exactly.
So the question is, if genuinely you want to serve, and the people are denying you the opportunity to serve,
I think
why do you even have to?
I think we can all agree on this point that it's just because one party takes all.
That's it.
When NPP comes into power, when CPP comes into power, and when maybe NDC comes into power, it's like everything is about me. I'm not going to appoint any different person from the opposition party who is very intelligent, who is very smart to hold an appointment. Always about me. Then what also, about this country also?
Let me chip in. I think as we keep saying that the winner takes all issue, I don't even see it that way. If our institutions are strong, you don't even care even if the winner takes 100% or whatever. After at the end of the day, the people believed in, for instance, MPP and voted for MPP. If the institutions are vibrant and working as expected, you walk to maybe Beth and Deaf, you want to apply for this, you get it. You don't care about the opposition having a rep.
Yeah.
This issue of winner takes all whatever is because our decisions are not working.
Let me give the floor to Honorable Mazu for like 2 minutes so that you can also deliberate on the chieftaincy issue.
Also,
yes, sir.
You and my brother Latif said Ghana. Let me put it in my own language. That is not what you said. It's a failed state because we said it's a joke, right? So similar to just a failed state. If at Ghana we have traveled so much, we are highly respected. Just that some, unscrupulous human beings who are trying to make things look like we are not doing well. We are doing extremely good. Just that we need
yes,
just that we need to be better. Oza, so diluted tree America. Zango for when I want only the tree, media make cap prime tree, Zango tree. One of its hours as I say, Kumasi, but me, yet me or prime. So traditionally and typical rural crash. And to me training in Shadanya was the last make a question present. But just by the way, so person become a trick account. Yes, I mean, the Constitution of Ghana highly respects and places chiefs at the center stage of our democracy. You understand? Which is why it has explicitly stated that chiefs should not meddle in active politics. By this, it means that a paramount chief of any tradition or any society or any community should not mount on political platform and say party A, party B should be voted. But you see, we see it in Ghana here. Before 2016 election, we had a chief in Greater Accra who said that they shouldn't vote for Akufo-Addo. We had a chief in Broadhaven who said they shouldn't vote for Akufo-Addo. We see it a lot of the time. We have equally chiefs who will say that they shouldn't vote for Mahama. That is not happening as a country. In as much as we have succeeded in making Ghana a better place, we should do anything to encourage people to adhere to the tenets of multi-partyism. Intemperate language and provocative vocabularies must be discouraged in our body politics. Now, my brother nearly bring the entire Buhaha on the doorsteps of the EC, Jane Mensah. I sharply disagree with him. Jane Mensah or the EC boss is not constrained by any constitutional provision or article to respond or accept the invitation of the National House of Chiefs. It is based on her own discretion. Yes, we are in a country where we give more importance, sentimental respect to our chieftaincy institution. But you see, these issues like this are very, 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 very sensitive. Yes, I share the view that she could have, honored the invitation. Go listen to whatever they want to say, and then you also give them your side of the constitutional support. Yes, I agree with that. But then we shouldn't make any atom of attempt to criminalize her declination of that invitation to attend to the National House of Chiefs. Because as you know, even in the House of Chiefs, they are broken into two camps. Those who are in support of the new voter ID and those who are not in support. So all these things is something that is worrisome. It disturbs me as a country. We are not trying to put a proper image to our democracy. I agree, Latif. But having established this, gradually we are moving forward. And I believe after the 2020 election, the political temperature will come down again and then we move as a country. You were saying about the fact that our bane as country is due to the fact that the winner takes all concept is bringing up the problem. Partially, that is one of the reasons why stakes are so high in election. Because everywhere, whether you like it or not, even in this country, we have renowned people who are investing into politics. When their government wins, they will be given appointment. When their government wins, they will be given a contract. That is traditional politics. But for all you know, also in Ghana, any government that takes office, Latif, he has opportunity to appoint more than 6,000, getting to 7,000 individuals into the system. Between 6,000 to 7,000 individuals. That is political positions. So, in order to solve out this issue, at least, one, there is a proposal that I think will work very well by introducing what we call bicameral legislature, when we have the upper parliament and the lower parliament. In that instances, we will have a lot of people representing their constituents, and that is going to bring down the political tension. There hasn't been one point in time when MPs in Ghana have unanimously agreed on concept or policies or program of a government. When MPP is in power, any policy or program that is laid in parliament for debate, the MPP will always support what their government is doing, and the NDC will go on contrary. The only chance or the only way you will see our MPs being in unison in supporting either a motion or a policy or a program is when they are going to increase their salaries.
Thank you, Honorable Mazu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's really dive into today's program. So, the Supreme Court authorized the Electoral Commission to bring their legal basis, the reason why they want to do new voters register. I think it was submitted. They based it on their legal basis for new registration to the Supreme Court. One, it points on the CI-12, that's the Constitutional Instrument 12, which states that verification for voting is not required. Then it continues. So I'm talking about 2012, it jumps to 2016, and it continues. Then the CI-72, which also includes the NHIA, the baptismal set, birth set, driver's licenses, etc., etc. When they were trying to clean it up, according to the EC, when they were trying to clean up, it was very difficult, because it was difficult for you to know who was using, I think, NHIA, or who was using birth set. So that is their presentation. That is number one. Number two, they went to court, and when they went to court also, the Supreme Court asked the NDC, National Democratic Congress, to amend whatever they presented. So now, instead of making it two, now what they're trying to say is, or what the NDC is saying, they want birth certificate and the old IDs to be part of the required document. I don't know if I make myself clear. I'm talking about what the Electoral Commission presented to the Supreme Court, and when it went to court on June 11th, the NDC were asked to amend it, and that's what they said. Now they want the birth certificate to be part and the old voter's ID. So my question now becomes, what makes someone a citizen of Ghana? Do you have to prove to someone that you are a citizen of Ghana, like your mom, your dad, they're from Ghana, they gave birth to you, and do you still have to go to the point? Is it that the system is so broken that has brought us to sa position here your way and let's start with General Mazu na onka bibi infantry.
Okay, also, thank you so much. I don't know whether I'm starting from the last question you have asked, what makes an individual to become a citizen of Ghana, before going to the EC argument and then the NDC argument. Well, which one do you want me to start? But let me just start from the one you have just said. The requirements of an individual to become a citizen of any country, particularly our country. This is an elementary, discussion, especially when you do a subject in the SSS called government.
6 minutes.
Okay, I have 6 minutes, all right. When you do government, I mean, you should be able to understand the qualification that an individual requires to be a citizen. Naturally, one, by birth. If an individual is born into a country, automatically he becomes a citizen of a Ghana. Two, by marriage. An individual who lives in Singapore comes to Ghana, got married, it has gotten registration. True, then he has every right to become a Ghanaian citizen. Number 3, by naturalization. An individual who is a Togolese, an individual who is American, an individual who is from Libya or any other country who comes to Ghana, then denounce his citizenship or allegiance of his original country and then subscribe to the allegiance of his new country, has become a citizen. We have so many of them.
I think if he meets the conditions that has been laid down.
No, when he denounced, yes, you have to meet the conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Because you can, if you don't meet those conditions,
yeah,
you are not naturalized.
Okay.
Today, I suspect Latif is a citizen of US, right?
Yeah.
He has denounced he cannot hold any political appointment in Ghana. He cannot be elected as an MP.
No, he can later he can denounce.
He can denounce. That we're talking about denunciation. That's what he denounced. Very good. But right now, he dare not make one single mistake to go to Asawasi and tell the people of Asawasi, I am coming to contest as an MP. You understand?
Yeah.
That is number 1. So these are ingredients that makes an individual to become a citizen of a country. Having established this, you're talking about the CI. The CI that was laid before Parliament. Parliament of Ghana has passed the CI, the constitutional instrument 126.
I think we'll talk about that.
So which one?
So now I want us to talk about the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court first.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. Because that one is another.
No problem. No problem. The Supreme Court issue. I predicted here that the argument of the NDC against the EC that they cannot compile the new voter registration or what have you is an exercise in futility. And it is a total invitation into the realm of legal absurdity. They are inviting people into the league,
yeah,
into
you can break it down. Just
into
break
the
it down.
realms of legal absurdity. Brofuni de ya de ntimi breaking it down.
There's no breaking it down.
Mami come ma NDC no hu say, the omo ye is a total invitation to the realm of absurdity. And they are listed. Number 1, when they started, it wasn't only 2 relief that the NDC were seeking. The NDC were seeking for so many reliefs. But when they went to the Supreme Court, they were looking for only 2 issues. Number 1, whether the EC has jurisdiction. A clear interpretation of Article 45, Subclause E. That says that the EC can compile the voter register periodically. So they were looking for a true interpretation of that constitutional item. Number 2, about the qualification of an individual to get himself registered into the voter ID. That is where they were pressing for the use of the old voter ID card. Now, NDC lawyers, I'm telling you, these are people who are legally bankrupt. They went to court without any substantive point. They should have known first of all that what they were seeking cannot be granted to them. Because clearly, you cannot be looking for a relief at the same time looking for an alternative relief. You cannot be doing, you can't do that in court. So when they read their relief to the Supreme Court, they told them, listen, out of this no sour court. They said them between our no sour court. And out of 2 relief I'm pay. Munkoyi bako nambra. And Ohoya na Omatinasi, Godwin Tamaplo. He has never won one single case in Ghana. So I wonder why they should make him as a lead counsel in this all-important exercise. And so Mupisano said, Masa, 2 relief would buy. Court Sunday, Yibako. Makacho said they were looking for the interpretation whether the NC will chance out compiling new voter registration. And Sana, all voter ID card. So nipa over what now you see. And to omobisa no, Anna, what consulting other police lawyers. Then they unanimously agreed that they should abandon their position on Article 45, side clause E, that says that the EC has the jurisdiction to compile new voter register. And you know, what of the Femaha, who exercise who follow the issue. Now, they abandon the position that the EC cannot compile the new voter ID card. Then they now shift to one relief. What is the relief? They are now telling the EC or the Supreme Court to use the CI, either the CI-71 or the CI-92. What does the CI, the constitutional instrument, 92 or 71, what does it talk about? It talks about the requirement of an individual.
I think the CI-72 and CI-91.
Yes, who wants to get himself registered into the voter register. What are the ingredients that the old CI was talking about? An individual should have a valid driver's license.
Yeah.
An individual should have a passport. An individual should have existing voter ID card. And then the person should have a credible individual who can stand as a guarantor or can vouch for the person. That is what this CI is saying.
Yo,
now,
yeah,
but many that people
say, me my time now. Maybe say, you follow time. It's about president.
Yes, and for 2 minutes, for next 2 minutes, Marty.
Also, like
Manya established the fact that you are a hidden NDC sympathizer. I don't give a damn about that. I don't care. But listen to me. I said, Tam with a number, you are a hidden member of NDC. But I don't care. But I beg you here.
No, because Ofaya is not here. Ofaya is not here. So I have to play there. Somebody are there.
Enti, so now, they have now changed their goalposts from 2 relief to only 1. That any individual who has the existing voter ID card should be allowed to vote. Now, if you ask me my personal take, outside the realms of MPP-ship, if you ask me Mazum of Tower, what do you think about this? You see, also, democracy call for compromise. This one I'm speaking as an individual, not a communication director for MPP. If I should be given the chance, I will allow anybody who has the existing ID card to be part of the go and register. Our problem now is that we were entertaining fears that the voters' ID card had infiltrators, foreigners into it. So if you are going to register, they will still come and then use it. Because court has even made pronouncement to the effect that those who got themselves into the voter register using the National Health Insurance ID card were illegitimate. They were illegal. So they should be expunged from that. And it's only my own take. Outside the realms of MPP, make it yourself more allow, because today as we speak, the borders of the country is locked. Those who are getting the chance to come and go to Cape South, coronavirus has made them to not to come. And but I told you here that with or without the new voter ID at the new voter registrar, MPP can still win the election. But
General Mazu.
Okay.
General Latif, what's your take?
My take on this is the Supreme Court, asked for mediating even on a partial base, and I say intervening on the issue, and also acknowledge or give thanks to NDC legal team also for their U-turn on how to go by the issue. That is the beauty of democracy. So both sides play on more cards very well.
A point of correction. They haven't made that U-turn. They were coerced by the court. They don't have luxury of alternative but to comply with the court directives.
So that's why I'm saying they made a U-turn based on their earlier thoughts.
You see, when making U-turn, it looks as if they are making U-turn voluntarily. Anna.
No, I made mention of says Supreme Court, no. I advise you.
Yes.
And they are sticking to the advice of the Supreme Court.
They have no alternative than to stick to it.
No, as to whether they have alternative or
No,
Supreme Court is the highest court of the land.
Yes.
So we don't surpass that.
So I think what Latif is saying that, you know, like
they are respecting the order of the Supreme Court.
What I'm trying to tell you is that they cannot disagree with the stand of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes.
No, I think
Also, this Supreme Court, the idea of the Supreme Court came to being in 1876 under our colonial masters, and back then, you could even appeal the judgment from the judgment of the Supreme Court through,
and even now
West African court system,
Yeah.
But with time, with the successive coups, we abandon the idea of the Supreme Court. There were other tribunals or mushroom courts that were formed during the PNDC era. But the 1992 Constitution bring forth or recognize the Supreme Court as the highest court of the land. So as we say, whatever issues that pops up, the Supreme Court has the final say. Mm-hmm. And in certain instances, for instance, where in 2013 there was even one Ken Cratchit was he was a reporter of Daily Searchlight. Mm. He was even summoned and later imprisoned, or there was a judgment on him for a 9 or 10 days imprisonment for certain utterances that he uttered against the Supreme Court during the election petition. Yeah. So, like we rightly said, the Supreme Court is the highest court of the land. We have to accept that, abide by their rules, though at times it may not favor our party colors, but we can ridicule or subject them to ridicule and think that since it's this government that is in power, whatever judgment that comes from the Supreme Court will not be respected. But like we just said, I'm happy with the way things are going. This is the position of the Supreme Court. This is the position of the major opposition party, which is NDC. As we move on, we hope the final verdict that will be coming on the CI-126 that regulates the way one can be guaranteed access to registration will come to pass. But if you ask me my candid opinion as to who is supposed or how does one becomes a citizen, like my brother rightly said, based on marriage, naturalization by birth.
By birth.
But as we sit here, for a discussion to even come as to who is even a Ghanaian and how should he be a Ghanaian, I think the world has evolved. We're supposed to pass that stage. Mm-hmm. Both parties, NDC and NPP, should rather be focusing on their manifestos or policies, lure their supporters to stick by them, than to be talking about NDC. Somebody is not a Ghanaian. I'm coming. Okay. And he's supposed to have this requirement before he will be recognized. Africa is thinking of even uniting the whole continent with time. So this issue of this person is not from here or from there. Exactly. Shouldn't even come in. Because my concern is, assuming as indicated from the EC point of view, if I'm to look for two guarantors, what is the guarantee that I'm not even conniving with those people to agree or accept that I'm a Ghanaian?
Exactly.
So it makes it dicey. But at the end of the day, it draws us back to this issue or this notion. Once the EC in office is being appointed by a government of the day, whether you like it or not, the EC toes the line of the government of the day. For instance, during Madam Charlotte Osei's era, there was this issue of logo, which most of us thought there was no need for it. Her own colleagues had it difficult in coming out together or forming a unanimous decision on agreeing as to where to go with it. But she took it upon herself that she's the boss. She went ahead, came out with the logo. So it's always like that. We over dramatize. The EC boss has always been in the camp of the sitting administration. That's why we're calling for possible constitutional reviews or reforms, just as late President Mills did. He tried with that idea of reforms, but unfortunately along the line he couldn't make it. So we have to look at it critically.
I think even just to chip in, you know, the Article 51 of the Constitution, Article 51 of the 1992 Constitution, categorically states that the Electoral Commission shall, by constitutional instrument, by CI, of make regulations for effective performance of its functions under the Constitution or any other law. So, like my brother was saying, Honorable Mazu, whom I respect so much, you know, or can I be say, when they talk about Article 45 of the Constitution, now it empowers the EC. But the same Article 51, no, I could say, when you look at for instance, Congress, we talk about the House of Rep and we talk about the Senate. Right? And we talk about the executive. Omono is what is division of powers. The powers are not given to just one group. And the Western, you know, though the East, you know, they have the mandate, you know, they have the right, but yet still, you know, they cannot do it by themselves. Whatever change that they want to do, they have to go to what? To Parliament. Lay that.
I also have an issue even with the Parliament issue.
Good. And lay that Constitution for 21 days. By so doing, no, if they want to effect changes or if they want to vote against it now, and you know, they have the powers to do that. But yes or no, it doesn't mean say they are untouchable.
Sure.
As I mean, if I say yes, woman say ya woman, ya wo be wa Ghana. Na say was still wunjinya nimpa mienu. No one make sure say we are no crazy we are Ghana here. I think say
also me correct certain impression here. Now with respect to the constitutional instruments, when we talk of a constitutional instrument, yanya churo constitutional way, and this a who say one for changes be either to improve certain clauses or certain provisions that are in the constitutions, and now we lay constitutional instruments. So from 1992, especially with respect to our electoral reforms, you cannot, the EC cannot introduce anything into the electoral reform without laying constitutional instrument before
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Now, from 1992,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
From 1992, we have CI 12, CI 71, CI 92. Now, what the EC wants to do or has done or succeeded in doing was what she has laid before Parliament. Dear Omoka said, you cannot introduce or you cannot become eligible to vote when you use the old voter ID card. It has to be backed by the Constitution, which is why they have to come out with CI. And the CI they use is CI-126.
126, yeah.
Now, this 126, what does it say? It is only eliminating the driver's license, is eliminating the old existing ID card, and keep the passport, the Ghana card.
Yeah.
You understand? And then two individuals who can vote
for you.
So these things cannot become operationalized in the Constitution without.
Hold on 1 second. Hello? Hello?
You are on the already?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to contribute with some ideas.
Okay, go ahead, please. You have like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, how are you? I like your radio is good, but it seems that there's something which I would like to say. If it's good to give each, NDC or MPP, any one of them, time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It seems that.
Can you speak louder a little bit?
Yes, I said I think it's good to give any contributor, whether NDC or MPP, give each one time frame, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, so that they will explain.
Okay.
If you give, one side, we leave one side can talk,
Yeah.
more than 10 minutes that I don't think we enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yes, this one.
When you finish, you can tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So what he's trying to say is, we should be able to share the time proportionally. It's like there's no need for one person to, take more time and the other person taking lesser time. So if it's 5 minutes, we should follow. We should follow what the time is.
When Latif
Yeah.
we understand him. When
Hello.
Latif has so many to talk.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. May I know who is speaking? Your name?
I'm James Ametepe.
Okay.
Can I contribute?
Yes, please. Can you speak louder, please?
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
You see, I'm talking, and there's another switch on the television. Okay. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. We listen. Yeah, you have 2 minutes.
What I want to say is, I think the immediate caller is just.
I think you are breaking.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've lost the caller. Maybe definitely he'll call again.
I think he was trying to be in support of the earlier caller.
Yeah, he was trying to be in support.
Yeah, so Latif, you have to explain this thing, because you see, in discussions like this, if Latif has so much information
Hold on 1 second, please.
about what to say.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please. Can you speak louder? Hello.
Hello.
Sir, we are listening to you. Can you speak louder? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, and in a discussion,
Yeah,
in any discussions like this, for instance, if Latif has enough information about the topic which we are discussing, I mean, he will elaborate, and definitely the host will give him ample time to do it. It is not that we are going straight jacketed by, if it is 5 minutes, the host cannot extend the time of Latif, or he cannot extend my time. Latif, I don't know what.
I do agree.
Yeah. So if Latif has a lot of, info to give out, he has the liberty and the chance to articulate whatever he has. Some people are great talkers. They know how to summarize. Like Latif, he knows how to summarize his stuff. Unfortunately, I have been one of the bad people who don't know how to
Hello,
do
good evening also.
Yeah, good evening.
Also, my greetings to Maaz and Abdul Latif and you yourself for helping on the program. But you did ask a question. The question you asked was citizenship of Ghana.
Yes, citizenship of Ghana, yes.
You see, when you look at the 1992 Constitution, the 1992 Constitution says that when you go to citizenship, the Chapter 3 of 1992 Constitution, page 6, Article 1, it says every person who on the coming into force of this Constitution, that is the 1992 Constitution, is a citizen of Ghana by law, shall continue to be a citizen of Ghana. What is that supposed to mean? It means me and you and Muaz and everybody who is on the platform, if our parents were citizens of Ghana and this constitution came into law, was ratified, we are all citizens. And Article 2 says, subject to the provision of this constitution, a person born in or outside Ghana, after the
outside Ghana. Okay.
That's right.
After
the coming into force of this constitution, shall become a citizen of Ghana at the date of his birth, of either of his parents or grandparents, or was a citizen of Ghana. So when you look at all this, I'm just going to state it clearly. The EC has butchered all this. I don't think they have taken these provisions into consideration. And then to make their arguments clear, you see, they don't have to create any law because they have their functions in the Constitution. All they need to do is to compile a register. And now to compile the registers for the people of Ghana. and you are now disqualifying Ghanaians. What is wrong if you make a requirement, birth certificate as part of the requirement, or the old ID card for voters as a requirement, including the NIA card and including the passport? Because per the data, we have about 2 million people who have Ghanaian passport. So do you want to tell me that you're going to allow only 2 million people to vote 2020? That's the question. You and me and the village we come from, how many people have passports? How many people have an NIA card? I think it will serve Ghanaians and then everybody to use this criteria, a barometer with which they measure, to allow people. They use the point system that we have here. If they use the point system, also, are you listening to me, also?
Yes, I'm listening.
If they use the point system that we have here, Muazu and Abdulatif, no. Before you get even your driver's license or ID card, you have to have some points. Maybe you have an ATM card or you have a letter to show. It should be a point system. But you don't come and tell people, look, the NIA card that is in pending, that people are trying to get, is the source of getting people to be registered. And then passport, which they are limited in numbers. Look, I don't care about what NPP and NDC is going to say. I'm talking about Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Somebody in Akulobeto village, maybe when he was born, there was no any birth and death certificate office.
Yes.
It is the churches or the mosque who's in his village that baptize him, that makes his name, and then they give a letter and stamp it. So why are Ghanaians dragging ourselves into this? And then take the timing into consideration. Also,
yes, yeah.
Look at the timing. We are in June, and there's election in December. And look at the situation. We are being quarantined by coronavirus, the COVID-19. It is not safe. But people even in Ghana think that this disease doesn't exist, because a lot of them are complaining they haven't seen somebody closer to them who has COVID-19. And then you want people to come in this number at this moment to do registration. I'm not against registration, but look at the timing and look at the reasons the EC is giving. And we have tapes circulating, EC condoning and conniving with the sitting government. So it's like, as I told you the other time, if somebody is squatting by the street and they come later, you pass by and they ask you somebody had stool somewhere around the street, the first person that comes into your mind is the person you saw squatting on the back roadside. So you see, the EC should come clear, play the neutral aspect. Look at what even various bodies in the country have advised you. Lecturers, you are not knowledgeable than the lecturers who taught you. Come back and listen to people, because election has been the bane of all the problems that we have in African countries. Election results. So now you are making the largest opposition party to take you to court. Even the NIA itself are taking you to court because they think that they don't have enough to give to people, whereby this will be the chance of having smooth, fair, and election. So please, let us think as Ghanaians, pray for Ghana, and then I want Mazu to know that Ghana has adopted dual citizenship. You don't need to go to Ghana and prove to anybody you are here, you are a citizen, whatever. If you are here and you register and you get your passport here, you get your Ghanaian passport. So, Mala Moro, you are good too.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's a very great presentation from
Latif, do you have something to say about what he said?
So it's the same thing that we're all deliberating on.
And it's not the same thing, because there's a point of disagreement. There's a point. Yes, there's a point of
hold on, let me pick up this corner and then we'll take it from here.
And there's a point of disagreement. Okay.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, we are listening. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm James. I'm a
Okay.
I just want to contribute. There is some few things I want to point to you. First, I just want you to control the program.
James, just go on with your point for now. Okay, go on with your point.
Everybody know that you are in charge of the place.
Yeah, James, please go on with your point, please. Hello?
We can hardly hear them.
Oh my God! I think we're having a little problem with our calls.
So let's just forget about the call because it's giving us headache. We are not getting them.
Yeah. Please, I think you are breaking. If you can speak a little bit louder. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I don't know whether the Latif has something to say.
That's right.
Oh no! If you want to tackle it, just tackle it.
Yeah,
if
no,
there's
no.
anything, I'm the one going to ask
No
him. So
problem,
yeah, let me deal with that.
You see, I like the last, first. Is it Mohammed Lamin, who called him? There are points of convergence and there are points of divergence in my, in what he said, reference to the way I think issues to go. But unfortunately, my senior brother Muhammad Lamin has adopted what I call selective explanation of the Constitution by failing to tackle two fundamental issues. What my brother Lamin fails to understand is that the EC, in an attempt to exclude people who are holding the old voter ID card, she isn't doing that capriciously or without any legal backing. Immediately after 2000.
Hello? Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, yes?
Now, James Ametepe.
Yeah, please, you're breaking. Can you speak a little bit louder? And just please, if you can go straight to the point because of the timing. So please go straight to the point.
Okay, what I was saying is that about the time is given to both people sitting down there.
Yeah, I think yes,
I mean
yes,
the
someone,
NDC,
yeah,
the NDC rep and the NPP rep.
Yeah.
Somebody talked about it. I supported it.
Okay.
And the second one is he's talking about demonstration and killings. I don't see. I think this guy don't know what he's saying. And as for the abuse of chiefs, at least we talk about it, the better. The appointment of IGP and others. And the appointment of IGP and others. I'm surprised about what the NDC rep was saying. And then what I want you to help him, that anytime you want to call him for this program, please just give him some tip off. Let him know what to come and say here because he's disgracing himself. He's embarrassing himself because all what he's saying, there's no single truth in it. He don't want to allow the MPP rep to talk, NDC rep to talk. He should allow the NDC rep to talk.
Thank you.
That's what I have for you.
Thank you.
Mr. Osoja, you see, we have problem with the call. So, for instance, like the way he said, if we hadn't paid enough attention, we would have been able to even hear what he was saying. And when somebody says that and it is go unchecked, it casts a lot. It casts a lot of.
Actually, I was about to explain to you.
Let me just go ahead. It casts a lot of slur on our integrity. Like I started, I don't know whether he was even following us when we started. I said, myself and my brother and any other person who is here, and even you, the host, we are not embodiment of knowledge. We are not custodians of wisdom. And all what we are saying here, we are susceptible to error. We are susceptible to errors. But there's no point, one single point, that my brother has made reference to the IGP appointment or myself that is inaccurate. Every president from now.
Understand you. Let's go. Let's.
No, there's no need for.
It's just a contribution. He has just contributed.
No, Mr. Osoja, we have to set the record straight. If a caller calls in who is ill-informed about our constitutional provision. He doesn't know. We need to educate the person. When you go to the Constitution of Republic of Ghana, every single president who comes with his IGP. Every president, every political party that comes in appoints IGP. This IGP who is in power, if MPP is going, they are going with their IGP. They are bringing in new IGP by NDC.
So let me just
this is something that myself and Latif unanimously agree that it is not helping Ghana.
Let me just quickly interject here.
Okay.
The point is, you see, let me tell you something. All the security services, they are not supposed to do politics. We call it political appointment. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean that when you are appointed to that position, you should affiliate yourself with a party. Once you are part of any of the security apparatus in Ghana, you can only do politics in your house with your family. But when you step outside, you become neutral.
You lose the respect.
But my point is, talking about law, say you can't sanitary, and the IGP being appointed, no, he's not being appointed as an MPP. It is psychologically, once Sani Pano has been appointed, he feels said me to prove a point to Nipana wa election. But some make a political appointment. Even in the military, talking about the generals, talking about the serving commander, talking about the CDS, talking about the army commander, air force commander, the navy commander. They are all being appointed.
This thing also, it is taking out a chunk of our time. When we just correct it, but Brother Latif, can you just correct that impression? What? Myself and him unanimously agree that it is a bane of our problem.
Let me chip in. We want our listeners, like my brother already said.
Let me tell you this. Even when you put 50 people, everybody will have a different opinion.
No, he doesn't understand, Mr. Also, he doesn't understand what the Constitution says, and rather tend to accuse us for us to go and do an in-depth study before we come on program. It is an indictment. This guy who just called in, he's a typical ignorance about what the Constitution of Ghana is talking about. Let me tell you this. Also, excuse me. Kwame Nkrumah, when we gained independence, came with his IGP. You know what? Among the accusations for the overthrow of the CPP government was the involvement of the police service under the IGP. So, you know why? Because Africa is some way big. You understand? Here.
Time is almost 6:15.
Okay, then let's
go straight to the point.
Okay.
And I think the next point that we want to talk about is Parliament gives the Electoral Commission the green light to use Ghana card/passport. And as soon as you see Parliament, the Subsidiary Legislative Committee of Parliament has a majority decision recommended for adoption the public elections deliberations 2020 CI-126 brought to the House by the Electoral Commission through the Attorney General. Reading the committee's final report on the floor on Tuesday, June 9th, Chairman Dominic Ayin admitted that a consensus was not reached as regards the use of the existing voters' ID card or driver's license for registration for the next election. According to the report, the Electoral Commission could not delete all names of persons who registered with the National Health Insurance Authority, the NHIA, cards from the register as directed by the Supreme Court following the Abu Ramadan versus the Electoral Commission case in 2016. The Commission told the committee, according to Mr. Ayin reports, that it could not do so due to the poor record keeping, since it cannot tell who registered with an NHIA card or not. Therefore, the Commission believed that in order to have a clean register of voters, it is necessary to exclude the use of the existing voters' identification card as a form of proof of identity in the registration process. The former Deputy Minister of Justice said his committee, by examination of the CI, concludes that the rationale for the instrument is in accordance with the powers of the Commission under Article 51. I think I just read Article 51 with respect to the compilation of a credible and widely accepted voters register for the conduct of public elections and referenda in the country. If the report is adopted, the Ghanaian passport and the National Identification Authority card will be the basic documents to prove a person's citizenship for registration. And na ye ka ho asem no enti no say the opposition to test of the vote, which is 77 from maybe NPP plus the 106 from the NDC. No, let's say almost about 183 now. Then they can strike it. They can strike it out. But but according to the NDC, they were very happy. Say they did not agree to the air cost. You know where the CEO Supreme Court after the maturity of the constitutional instrument, the parliament, talking about the constitutional instrument 126, no, say na a buy. You know, Abdulatif, one so what doing? I was saying.
Also, yeah, me feel say said the Emra na de two no, sa na koi say parliament ebe vote on. Now, my concern back when I work with the voting, and he say, or had number a vote to follow or in support, 106. So presumably, for the government of the sitting government, which is the MPP, and those that voted against was 92, and those that were absent. From reports, and I've not seen say whether they were neutral or whatever. But I know say for in decisions of this sort, what matters is forming a quorum. But left to that, 77 people didn't vote, and as part of enhancing good governance, there's the need to say who are those people who never voted, because me as my representative as Aswase MP now. Yekoto aba was sensitive issue be say na me tell say one vote a hard dream there's presence of okra is sorry to say useless, because 77 people failed to vote on what reason. I hope so ultimately. So meaning voter turnout was 72%, though not bad like I did indicated. Probably once a quorum is formed the numbers will be accepted, but we need to be serious. As we keep saying, we want our institutions to be up and doing, our parliamentarians to have to sit up. You can't be getting paid, and when there is sensitive issue of this sort, you fail to either be present or vote. Or are they just trying to be neutral? I'm suspecting that most of these people, even who voted again in support, might have done that for other reasons. For instance, in the camp of the MPP, I hope you do remember there was one MP had to kneel before Chairman Wontumi to be declared unopposed or so. So
he was begging.
He was begging to be declared Bantuma to be declared unopposed. To go unopposed. Like is it as a concept video, and such person, do you think so? No, or go to for CI constitutional instrument or no offer the account? Or no, best one from Granny, I guess, or go vote against. So, if you are reading a lot of meanings to this, aside the 77 that didn't vote, me question about this resource, because most of them might have voted for some other reasons, not for even the national cause. In future, you better appeal with the honorable men, or they should do the honorable thing. If it's about their ex gratia or whatever, wherever he is, he will make sure he's in parliament to vote. But we need the for masses on farm. That is not a good democratic practice. So in future, they should make sure they make their voices heard so that their constituents will know, oh, my MP was there. Because once I see this, I can even say, oh, Honorable Mutaka didn't vote in favor or against the bill. So that is a bad practice. One desisted from that. Now, I'm only the honorable.
Now, Latif, what I mean, Sunday, I told you, I think it's about 3 minutes. My miss, I think you can still stand in for the NDC man. right?
Oh, sure.
If you person me a question and say, a dear pen panty, and I say, yentro, a dear pan, can you give like 2 reasons?
Also, ja, and I'm
like ye and alcoholic need trust and farmer electoral commission.
Yeah, also, ja, speaking from national point of view, Medianka, once this CIE ABBA into being, no, even though we're still waiting for the final pronouncement from the Supreme Court, the Department of Birth and Deaths, CIE, aren't null and void because as useless. So I think that we should begin closing the Department of Birth and Deaths. Yeah, because once your birth cert doesn't even guarantee all your citizen, what are they operating for? Let's be serious. Yeah, birth and death department has to shut down because they are just getting paid for nothing. The document that they are producing cannot guarantee a Ghanaian citizenship. So what are they getting paid for? We need to get serious as a nation. And on the issue of NDC for also no, like say Miss Miakano no, did they also just voted against? Just because it's not their party that is in power. I'm referring to the number of 92 MPs that voted against. Like we keep saying, them placing national interest, first before we talk about party interest. It's in moving forward, as citizens,
May I say, what do you mean 5 minutes into major idea? Hold on 1 second. Hello.
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 Yeah, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
Fine. Also,
yes.
Yankupon Shrawai.
Yo.
And I'm part of a month for fra, catch almost a really so almost set. And then a more kasa, munya feedback, Montia Sama or more on the platform. But also, me frere canning, I'm the first caller. But me took me Moaz for sale. Oh, if you see a way, Obia a train agent. And then Tressa, young co school, and I am your leaning the idea.
We are saying, I want to be a train agent.
Obia train agent because you're per se, you're the agent, but Banea more Ghana. I'm a Ghana a tumpong. If I come in and as I quote the Constitution of Ghana to back my argument, as to the fact that people should be considered widely population of Ghana, those who have matured and they are old enough to vote, for us to get accountable governance. What is wrong with that? So I'm just cautioning the panelists, especially Moazu, to say that he thinks that he's an authority on everything. No, you are not. We are all sharing ideas. If you disagree with my point, good, give your point. But you don't sit down there and tell me that I don't know. What do you mean by I don't know? If I don't know, I wouldn't come and be quoting the Constitution to tell you this is how I feel about what is going on. I read the papers. I monitor the political situation in Ghana. I've been in politics of Ghana maybe more than you, historically. But I'm not here to challenge you over that. Okay. I'm giving my views as to how are we all going to put our cards on the table so that we help Ghana to become better. Not NDC, not NPP. Because this is our mindset. If you are an NPP man... No, let me land on this. Okay. If you are an NPP, you are NDC, our mindset is whatever NDC does is for NDC, not for Ghana. They don't think for Ghana. They think for the party. We should just change our mindset and then accept somebody's ideas without disdaining him and looking that he doesn't know. He knows. But you beg to differ with whatever the person has given.
Idea, we are all sharing our idea. Right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Also, the floor is yours now.
You wouldn't be fair to us, to be very brutally frank with you. You are not going to be very fair with us. Why am I saying we are not going to be fair to us? All those who are calling in, we are not hearing them properly. So if somebody is calling in, you are not understanding what the person is saying. You don't hear him in order to be able to give a good reply.
I mute it because the point is I cannot hear myself, and when I put so we can be hearing from here.
No, I am not hearing. I'm not hearing. Mr.
People are
Osoja,
watching,
please,
so, Mazu,
we have never had, excuse me, we have never had any debate about this.
Watching,
yes, I am telling you what is happening
Mazu,
here.
please, let's go on because I called.
I am Are you done?
Yeah, please.
Now somebody has called him. Somebody has called him. He mentioned my name. I didn't understand what he's saying. I didn't hear him. So how do you want me to reply? Now the person thinks that I am I mean, on what topic were you?
You want the voting from Parliament?
Okay. Normally, that is expected, Latif. You remember I even said this before this topic was even introduced, that every single item tabled before Parliament, people are given a political lens. I mean, our parliamentarians never in the history of our parliament unanimously agree to vote in favor of policies that are initiated or promulgated by their opponent political party. I think I made it very clear here. So the voting that took place in parliament, I'm not in the least surprised about it. It is expected. That is what I expected. I expected that those who dominate parliament
it was
always
on party lines. Exactly.
But it is only here.
Is it happening here?
No, it is only here. Sometimes in advanced democracy, like what we are having here, a Democrat might come out, speak against a motion that has been tabled by his own party. We've seen it several times, but never in the history of our country an NDC MP gets up to speak against a policy or program that his party is introducing, or an MPP MP gets up to speak against this today.
I think on that I have an example to cite so that will make
it
easier. On this issue, I think it's one time. This is MP for Odobin Brakwa PC appeal for it. Yeah, I don't remember on the issue of we hardly get them say against or vote against. He was the only person in parliament
who has done that
before, and he did that during the era of President Kufuor, when there was the need or there was the proposal to privatize Ghana Telecom, which is now Vodafone. So let's just put that.
Yes, that is exactly.
It hardly happens.
It hardly happens. So also, what the voting that went on is not surprising. That is what we were already anticipating. Now, coming back to the substantive issue of what that particular CI meant, you see, the proposal of the EC cannot materialize if this particular CI fail to see the light of the day. If it had failed in Parliament with an overwhelming endorsement from the MPP, this particular CI that the EC is looking to exclude driver's license, to exclude the existing voter ID, despite the fact that the use of the existing voter ID has been outlawed by the Supreme Court immediately or during the litigation of the presidential election. You and I are acutely aware of the fact that the Supreme Court outlawed it. The Supreme Court outlawed the use of the existing voter ID card. Why did they do that? Because the EC, that was the time when Afarijan was the head. when he appeared before the Supreme Court, he was not able to articulate why they had people who had registered with the National Insurance ID card. And you remember, we can tell you authoritatively that we have foreigners who are using the National Health Insurance as a form of identification. The court has outlawed that it should not be used, to the extent that the Supreme Court has directed the Electoral Commission to remove the names of people who were using the National Insurance ID card. Out of the respect of the court, the Electoral Commission started removing their names, to the extent that they succeeded in removing 56,000 names. They couldn't complete till 2016 election. So the position of the MPP and the NDC has been very, very consistent. Reference to whether we should have a new voter ID or we should not have it. Now, the Electoral Commission, why were they trying to change this? There is a circular moving on. One allegation, unsubstantiated allegation, scandalous, just to malign, assassinate, and denigrate the integrity of the Electoral Commission, saying that we have 150 million is going to be spent on the voter ID. It is a total lie. I don't know whether you are privy to the press conference that the EC has held. The total amount of money that is going to be injected into the exercise is 64 million. And to your surprise, the servicing of the old machine will have cost us 54 million. With that certain futures, the new system that the EC wants to bring in is going to improve the electoral system. By one, Latif, I don't know whether you are privy to this. Do you know that the fingerprint, people can easily get loss of their fingerprint through hard work? If you are a manual labor and keep on working, when you go for fingerprint, it's not going to go through. So people who are not having access to that, the moment the person comes to the biometric machine, the machine scans the person. The machine is able to recognize the person. Majority of the items or the equipment that the EC is using are obsolete. Hence the need for them to upgrade it. Hence the need for them to abrogate the old system they are using in order to replace it. So this and many more other reasons for the EC. Now that they have laid before Parliament, it has reached its gestation period. The Parliament has passed it by simple majority. The CI has become law. The CI has become law, which is why
I think there are still hurdles to be crossed, because now the issue is in the Supreme Court.
Which one? The issue has nothing to do with the CI.
Oh.
The issue has nothing to do with the CI. These are different things.
The point is, the point is the CI, the Constitutional Instrument 126, has been approved,
yes.
Right? But my point is now on.
No, you're talking about different things altogether.
Oh.
You are taking my mind. We're talking about the CI. NDC is in court.
The CI, that's exactly. I agree with you 100%. But what I'm saying is the case has not ended.
I didn't conclude that the case.
Okay.
I reference to the CI.
Yeah.
The CI is done.
It's done. Exactly.
It is done. But the case of the NDC is still pending, which of course the Supreme Court has asked them to go select one. They have abandoned their earlier position about the fact that the EC doesn't have the capacity.
Interject. So if now, let's assume the EC come out with a verdict that
the Supreme Court.
I'm talking about the Supreme Court, that they can use, like they are reversing it, that they should add the previous voters ID and use birth certificate.
Okay.
What becomes the CI now?
Yes, you see.
That's what I'm.
It doesn't illegitimate or the CI doesn't become illegal.
Oh yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
It is rather going to be added into the ingredients that the requirements.
And they still have to send it back to. They still have to send it to Parliament.
Yes, they still have to take it to Parliament,
exactly.
Because those that they went into Parliament.
Thank you.
Were about the passport.
Thank you. And the NIA and NIA.
National Identification Card.
Authority,
and the two people who will stand for you.
Yeah.
Now, assuming without admitting.
Assuming therefore supposing that.
Assuming without admitting that the court on what date are they sitting? 11th of this month.
Oh no, but that one they are done already. So I think maybe the next
judgment.
I think it's
the judgment.
It's June 23rd.
Yeah. June 23rd.
And Electoral Commission will start their registration June 30th.
Yeah. So listen to me.
I'm listening.
Like I told you earlier on, like I stated it very clear here. The NDC is embarking on an exercise in futility. It is an invitation into the realm of legal absurdity. They are going to lose this case. They will lose it because you see, Ghana is a serious country. Let's not try to trivialize this matter as if some political party are aiming at.
But I think the Supreme Court is the highest court. Any citizen, as assembly, bodawa, you have to send it to a Supreme Court. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, like NDC sending
Did I say there's something wrong with it? I never said anything.
But
I am telling you that they
are going to lose.
They are going to lose, yes.
And I make sure
it doesn't mean that they don't have the right to sell it.
Democratic era, I think it's the right thing for them to do.
Oh, Masa. Don't get me wrong, please. I never said what the NDC is doing is illegal. I didn't say that.
Okay.
That was even what we were looking for. They started embarking on unconstitutional demonstrations throughout the country before the eruption of this pandemic. MPP, whenever we want to introduce any electoral reform, we take it to court.
Yeah.
So that was what we were expecting as a law-abiding citizens of the country who are not legally bankrupt and know the laws of the country to have started initiating the thing with what? With the court. Go to court, spell it out. Last minute, you have sent it. That is fine. My position as an MPP, an ardent support of MPP, is that the NDC is embarking on fruitless exercise and they are going to lose this case. This is not the first time they have lost. They are going to lose. The genesis of the case should even tell you that. Listen, when the Supreme Court asked them to go and provide a legal argument as why the EC should not include the existing voter register, the Supreme Court did that on a purpose. I said it here, but you see, last week I told you I cited the case of Abu Ramadan. The Supreme Court, the EC is going to construct its argument, and the Attorney General, they are going to construct and build the foundation of their argument on the case of Abu Ramadan. And truly, to my prediction, it has come to pass. Even though some of us are legally bankrupt, I don't know the law. I don't pretend to know the law.
But I think at least we know the basics.
Yes, I don't pretend to be a custodian of knowledge. We are only trying to say things according to the way we appreciate it. So any person who sits elsewhere and feels that some of us here are exhibiting what is it? No.
Thank you. I think we all come into a compromise here. Talking about the EC, or more argument, was the constitutional instrument number 12, constitutional instrument number 72. There was no justification. You are not supposed to prove anything that where the NHIA even say anybody will be able to idea. The which mean your friends say NHIA anybody. And I think they really had a point, but Sisi and the air can say before now, back those days, now answer when your friends say voters register. No, I think there are some documents now. I say who putting it together. And we are just trying to educate our listeners and ourselves. Say sometimes we can disagree and we can also agree on certain point. Just to wrap it up, I think that let me say, EC. I was listening to a friend saying Charlotte say talking to Atomo Orchard in 2016. Now someone kind of say the NHIA they try some of the delete names. They had only 56,000 for Atomo Orchard. SIB and say, are you sure? Say someone saying go through or maybe I'll say yes. So we go through menu. Let's just say talking about the voters register, there's a problem. How do we fix that problem? And only a good point. Mami can be big to I say anyway. Or say talking about the EC, or say the biometric data is controlled by external vendors, foreigners, who has unlimited access remotely and physically to their system due to the lack of training of employees. During the referendum, they wiped the devices down, tested them to make sure they work. That was almost about 13,000 devices. Then put them back in the boxes, which they were paid $1.7 million. I asked the IT director, Mr. Nunu, they should do it for 200,000, but they couldn't since they didn't know how to operate it. They don't even know the password. The data center room all over has empty boxes, filthy wires all over the places, which they are paying $4 million to maintain since 2011. And when they ask the IT director, what are they doing? And he says he doesn't know, and nobody told them about it. The system they have run today, the commission has no clue, doesn't control the data. Administrative rights are with the vendors, and they have indicated the commission never wanted a password. That's what the vendors are saying. The commission never wanted or never asked for the password, the staff, or even to be able to train them. What they are doing now is to build the core to bring new staff on board. We realize that with the civil service, the funds that they pay, $4 million, they cannot get the quality that they are looking for. We are bringing on board long-term as consultants, but to help build them. In this area, we can all also agree on a point. Say near eastern area is good for the country because we are throwing 1.7 million away just by servicing, and we are throwing almost about 4 million every year away. So Yankasa build area, a bear Yankasa area. Now then the business say, I will Abdul Latif, who goes who KNUST. Ain't no sir, college is organizing no, ain't no much me and build it. And then as some bakwa, Madame for bakwa, he's really into politics, but on you here, or by say on Casawa Monte. As what we say, ain't no the whole Ghana no, Yankman build it, Yankasa system, Nankasi Yusu, and idea, just to wrap it up, no, say, you know, be a veteran idea, no. Just say former President John Mahama, that's the flag bearer of the NDC. But what can you say election no ever na say enye credible or accepted way no. And no, it has brought some kind of baloo like back and forth. Obia e kasa wo ho. Sunny air up no, yen fan kan wona, you know, on our 3-minute submission, the answer is as some kind, you know, a code level, say or say, but everybody because now some on all can say, Utie, various interviews, and that's on us, more kind of, or say, or feel say, there's a fraud. But in the first question, we say, how do you determine a fraud? But I guess I say, no, one. Into the year as peacemakers, no. Saying I so yeah can't find wrapping up within 3 minutes no Abdul Latif. Thank you so much, Jeramazo. Thank you also so much for your great contribution. I think the listeners are really enjoying. Latif, the ball is in your court.
Also, yeah, once again, that's it. And Aquama or say that's so I'm the points and mention my easy no machine no progress changing no. It's being managed by outsiders. No, I think at the end of the day, no, what we're all looking at is if only said the easy, no, or say all year, no, remember a value for money. That is all that we're all praying for. Say, yes, uncle boka fufubi, but say no, all we can say now at the end of the day, no, a ban we free swap now as I bear some fufro. Nice on the end in the year. And say because outsiders, no, we seems to know every issue that we have or problem that we have, but we are not working on it. And they once we new control over a system outside the line where they ever run the amount, but our politicians make it look like say outside the know or running based on without our knowledge. Or without us being privy to it. Meanwhile, no, any are contracting the panel. and no as part of arrangement then or maintaining adinamai. So why should we even make it look like a big deal? So the idea of the outsiders, I'm in pessimity. The other aspect, they say a whole university like KNUST with the engineering department, with other departments, why can't we empower our own people to be able to do what matters for our country? Because we will be access to a system like an outsider. There is that tendency say obetimi akunaibu with obina one system. So in moving forward, it's something that we need to look at it very well. On the issue of the former president's statement, say if anything goes, if he's not well convinced or satisfied with the outcome of the election, or if it's flawed as indicated, as former president, even if he's not even speaking as a former president, as a Ghanaian citizen, he has every right to express his concern as to whatever happens in the country. But it becomes an issue when he's speaking from being an ex-president. He has every right to express his concern. But yet we are not praying for that to happen. Should in case that happen, we'll just take a lesson from what happened in 2012. They will just walk straight to the court. Since we have confidence in the court, then whatever happens it should be addressed at the court. And it's too early to push too much to the people. Say former president say on Tiasie, on Penny. Now no so as igniting another confusion. I don't think it is. No, what I mean is he said it, yes. And I'm indicating that as a citizen, he also have every right to express his concern. So we should even make a big deal out of it that he said he's not gonna agree. If he's not gonna agree, he should follow the law in case that happens. Just as MBP did during 2012 election petition. So that is what I have to say to make it better. Also, let's give me 1 minute to talk about this corona case. As we speak, our numbers is around 11,000 thereabout. We've recorded 48 deaths. 11,118. And that is the total cases recorded. Recoveries is around 7,091. The death is 48. And the issue here has to do with the two MPs who have refused to adhere. The last thing you want to hear that a whole parliamentarian, a legislator who enacts laws for people to adhere, and that person is failing to adhere. So those people, we beg them, they should just move to isolation as being suggested by their colleagues. We are not even suggesting to them. They should just respect their colleagues, even if they are not respecting us. The very colleagues that they are working with, they shouldn't endanger their lives for them. That's what I have to say.
Yo, thank you, General Latif. The great Mazu. Won't you say? So, politics, I don't go. Yo, it's wrap up.
Yes, as we wrap up, first of all, about the system, our system are being controlled by external forces. As we speak in the equipment of the EC, every single item that the EC store is massive, is controlled by outsiders.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. It's a Grab Radio.
Huh?
Yeah, sorry, General Mazu. Go ahead.
Like I was saying, every single item that belongs to the EC is being monitored by outside world. Yeah, to the extent that the past EC boss didn't have password to the computer system of the EC. But if we are here, that has been the bane of US vis-a-vis Trump election. These are what we are guiding against. If we are calling ourselves a country that adheres to the principle of multi-partyism, then every single item that we control must be controlled by our own people.
Hello?
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 Yeah, hello. Oh, soldier.
Yeah, we are wrapping up.
All right, I have a little bit of my contribution.
Okay, so kindly raise your voice, and you have only 1 minute because we are just wrapping up.
Oh, okay. What I have to say is today, Honorable has spoken very, very well. But let your viewers also know that Abdul Latif is not an NDC guy. He's an individual. He's an independent candidate. So people are attacking that you don't speak with, but I see nothing wrong with that because he's not an NDC guy. Mazu is the MPP guy. But people they trying to say Latif is not a outspoken person or something. It's not like that. You have to let the viewers know that. And what I have to say right now is, you see that guy who called on the program. I don't know his name. I think Mazu know him. It seems that guy know about a lot about Constitution. So I don't know if we can get him on this program so he can tell us much about the Constitution. I think I like the way he speaks. That's my contribution.
Thank you.
All right.
So just, General Chief, sorry for cutting
Yes, I mean that has been the problem of the country is facing US versus Russia. I mean, a lot of people are accusing the Russians for interfering into the electoral process of our country. Today, if one country is in charge of our electoral equipment and nothing untoward happens, who do we blame? We tend to blame the party in power. The party in power here doesn't mean NDC or MPP. Any of them who is in power can be blamed. You remember getting to 2008, was it 2008 or 2012, when they went and raided some Lebanese people whom they accused of manipulating certain equipment of the EC. It happened in our country.
2012.
That was 2012. You see what I'm talking about? So having said that, there's the need for us as a country. Electoral Commission of Ghana is one of the credible electoral commissions in Africa. People rely on Ghana's electoral commission for a lot of political tutorial on how to manage their electoral system. Having established that, let's come back to NUS. Latif is here, so I will be a little bit charitable to that particular institution. I'll be very charitable to that.
You are wrapping up. Oh.
Yes, you have truncated me. Also, or do you want me to stop? I mean, you truncated me 2 times, 3 times. I didn't say anything. No, also, that nothing now is. Me, you want to what's it? Excuse me. Here, you feel. This is also baby. Latif, I will be very charitable to you because your institution is gradually migrating from traditional courses to the orthodox courses. Today, you see Science and Tech running political science department. Latif did business there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So instead of them to dwell so much about the needs, technological needs of that institution, they are migrating. Technological Institute of New York is at 59th Street,
Yeah.
Colombo Cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
NIT.
They do purely technological courses. That is their area of specialization.
Yeah.
So if a university is notoriously known for a particular subject, look at John Jay for instance. When you come to criminal justice, they are the leading.
Yeah.
So Science and Tech has really disappointed the intellectuals of Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to the statement as I wrap up, coming back to the statement of ex-president John Dramani Mahama, Latif has said it. You see, as a country, we should not allow any desperate political loser with an inordinate political ambition to put Ghana into chaos. What is JM talking about? If there is an infractions, he is not going to accept the results. There was an infraction in election 2012. That if you believe that, when they went to court, the court had a split decision. Out of the 9 judges who sat on the court, 4 voted for MPP. And then the justice of the Supreme Court, who presided over the case, said after this particular election petition, elections in Ghana are not going to be the same. Latif, am I telling lies?
Sure.
That tells you that there was a fundamental error in the way elections went on. Did we accept defeat or not? We accepted defeat, and John Dramani Mahama was reaffirmed as legally president of our country. That was 2012. 2008, you know what happened? The MPP was beaten by a percentage that never happened in the history of democracy. What Prof. Mills beat the then candidate Akufo-Addo was less than 1% by only 250,000 votes. Did Akufo-Addo accept or he didn't accept? He accepted the verdict. So come on, John should let's be thinking about how we are going to change our course. You've been a president, under your watch they conducted election, you won as a president, under your watch they defeated you as a president. Why are you sounding an alarm bell? This is an alarmist and opportunistic strategy he wants to adopt. Listen, we're not going to accept that. John should not even make attempts. I'm telling you, when he make the slightest attempt, we're going to strip him from his position as an ex-president. The country is paying him.
Maybe today I don't get nothing, but tomorrow I go get something. And I go buy the motor.
Yes, but let me wrap up by just one word. Let me wrap up by saying, my brother Lamin, in fact, I am highly outraged and not to be disappointed about it. My own brother said.
Because he don't know that day, Jesus Christ, he go come. So if you see me today, I know my love. I know my love. Oh, my love. Anybody for me so pain today, I know my love. I know my love. Oh, my love. The time I waka, yo. I mean, I can put my bed, lonely story.
Yo, ebusi abo. Yeah, the money now must say. The crowd radio. And sir. Yo, Reverend George Obin Frimpong, aspiring MP for Akofom constituency. We give you a shout out. Yo, CEO Sarkodie, Isaac Moro Adams, Mr. Kumsin, General Asabre, Daniel Taylor, Mr. Buama. Thank you all for watching. Yamin Shramo. And you did one in the end. Yes, someone crying. Your crying shall say, if the plan or your plan doesn't work, change the plan, but don't change the goal. May God keep you and bless you. And may the Lord shine his face upon you. We are just keeping it for real. Thank you. Continue following us on Edinkra Radio, on YouTube, Facebook. Thank you all our listeners. Thank you for supporting Edinkra Radio.
So if I sing my song, if I keep up for long.